Every time we do these countdown shows, I sit here and I break down stylistically, this guy has this guy has that. You can't do this in this fight. Both of these guys have it all. They're the whole pack.
Mixed martial arts is full of surprises. Many fans believe they can guess who will win, especially when one fighter looks much stronger than the other. But this sport is wild, and shocking upsets happen all the time. One punch or submission can change everything in a second. When we look back at some of the biggest upsets, they don't seem so crazy anymore. In fact,
really, when I arrived here today, I saw a lot of people's working, all the medias, man. Congratulations for all of you guys. You guys doing a great job, and we in Brazil, I'm so happy to have all the information really fast. All the guys have a really good job. Thanks so much.
Some of them feel like they were meant to happen. Number 10, Kazushi Sakuraba versus Wanderlei Silva. Kazushi Sakuraba was a legend, revered as the Gracie Hunter with only 2 losses before facing Wanderlei Silva. His epic 90-minute war with Royce Gracie cemented his status as a pound-for-pound great. Silva, despite wins over Dan Henderson and Guy Mezger, wasn't yet seen as a dominant force. Their first fight saw Silva overwhelm Sakuraba, a result repeated in 2 more encounters. At the time, this was a stunning upset, but Silva's rise as one of MMA's most fearsome fighters revealed his superiority. His relentless aggression and power were perfect counters to Sakuraba's grappling wizardry. In hindsight, Silva's dominance was no fluke. He was simply the better fighter, forging a legacy that overshadowed Sakuraba's prime. This fight marked the dawn of Silva's terrifying reign, making the upset seem inevitable when viewed through history's lens. Number 9, Ronda Rousey versus Holly Holm. Ronda Rousey was an unstoppable force, a global icon who finished her last 3 opponents in under a minute. By the time she faced Holly Holm, the notion of her losing seemed absurd. Holm's kickboxing pedigree was acknowledged, but Rousey's knockouts, like against Beth Correa and her destruction of Olympian Sarah McMahon, suggested invincibility. Yet, Holm's precise striking and well-rounded game dismantled Rousey with a devastating head kick knockout. Fans were stunned, but looking back, Holm's technical prowess was tailor-made to exploit Rousey's aggressive grappling and limited striking defense. A new wave of skilled strikers had emerged, and Rousey's weaknesses were exposed. This fight, the biggest upset in UFC history, felt earth-shattering, but hindsight shows Holm's victory was logical. Her skill set signaled the end of Rousey's dominance, marking a shift in women's MMA. Number 8, Renan Barão versus TJ Dillashaw. Renan Barão was the untouchable bantamweight king, boasting a decade-long unbeaten streak. TJ Dillashaw, relatively unknown after a loss on The Ultimate Fighter and a defeat to Rafael Asuncao, seemed like a long shot. Yet, Dillashaw's technical mastery and relentless pace overwhelmed Barão, shattering the champion's aura. Fans barely knew Dillashaw, but his rapid ascent, 5 wins in 6 fights after TUF, hinted at his potential. Barão's grueling weight cuts and Dillashaw's elite footwork and striking were subtle clues we overlooked. In retrospect, Dillashaw's performance revealed him as one of the greatest bantamweights ever. His victory wasn't just an upset, it was a masterclass in exploiting Barão's vulnerabilities. The signs were there: Dillashaw's TUF finale run and wins over solid opponents, but Barão's dominance blinded fans. Hindsight shows this was no fluke. Dillashaw was simply exceptional. Number 7, Anthony Pettis versus Rafael dos Anjos. Anthony Pettis was the UFC's golden child, his WEC highlight reel knockouts fueling hype as the sport's future star. Facing Rafael dos Anjos, few expected RDA to dominate and claim the lightweight title. Pettis' flashy style dazzled, but dos Anjos' relentless pressure and grappling exposed his flaws. A prior fight against Clay Guida had revealed the blueprint: smother Pettis, deny him space for acrobatic strikes, and wear him down. RDA executed this perfectly, neutralizing Pettis' cage-jumping kicks and submission attempts. Dos Anjos, perpetually underrated, had the tools to dominate, but fans were blinded by Pettis' charisma. In hindsight, RDA's skill set was the ideal counter, and his victory was less shocking than it seemed. This fight highlighted Pettis' vulnerabilities under pressure, proving Dos Anjos' elite status. What felt like an upset was, in truth, a predictable outcome given RDA's mastery. Number 6. Chuck Liddell versus Rampage Jackson. In 2003, Chuck Liddell ventured to Pride's middleweight Grand Prix, where Rampage Jackson dominated him. Many UFC fans missed this due to limited access to Pride broadcasts. By their UFC rematch, Liddell was a top light heavyweight, while Jackson was still building his reputation with wins over fighters like Randleman. Jackson's second victory over Liddell proved his dominance wasn't a one-off. His time in Pride had forged him into an elite fighter, blending power and resilience. Fans underestimated Jackson, seeing Liddell as untouchable, but Jackson's rematch performance showed he was levels above. The upset felt massive, but hindsight reveals Jackson's greatness was already evident. His Pride-honed skills overwhelmed Liddell's striking-based style. This fight wasn't a fluke, it was a sign of Jackson's place among the sport's elite, making the outcome predictable in retrospect. Number 5. Mirko Cro Cop versus Gabriel Gonzaga. Mirko Cro Cop arrived in the UFC from Pride as a heavyweight titan, expected to dominate. Instead, Gabriel Gonzaga delivered a shocking head kick knockout that left fans reeling. Cro Cop's kickboxing mastery faltered in the octagon's confined space.
When I take Cro Cop to the ground, I'm going to submit him.
I think all my opponents should have on their mind that they might be submitted to.
Where angles differed from the rings he thrived in. His UFC tenure was rocky. A win over Eddie Sanchez, the Gonzaga loss, and struggles against Cheick Kongo and Frank Mir. Years later, Cro Cop avenged the loss, but both fighters were past their primes. Gonzaga's win seemed like a fluke, but Cro Cop's inability to adapt to the cage was a clear weakness. His style, reliant on precise angles, crumbled in the octagon. In hindsight, Gonzaga's power and Cro Cop's struggles made this upset less surprising. The octagon exposed Cro Cop's limitations, revealing the result as almost inevitable. Number 4. Roger Huerta versus Kenny Florian. In 2007, Roger Huerta was the UFC's brightest star, riding a wave of hype with 5 straight wins, 4 by finish, including a Fight of the Year against Clay Guida. His Sports Illustrated cover cemented his status as MMA's next big thing. Facing Kenny Florian, a former title challenger, Huerta was expected to shine. Instead, Florian dominated with a unanimous decision, halting Huerta's meteoric rise. Florian went on to 2 more title shots, while Huerta lost 12 of his next 16 fights. The upset shocked fans, but Florian's experience and technical skill were underrated. Huerta's hype overshadowed Florian's proven abilities, but in retrospect, Florian's victory was logical. His grappling and composure outmatched Huerta's aggression. This fight marked the end of Huerta's peak, revealing Florian's elite status, and making the outcome seem predictable in hindsight. Number 3. Frankie Edgar versus Tyson Griffin. Tyson Griffin was a massive favorite against Frankie Edgar, with odds at -700, despite only having 1 UFC fight, a win over David Lee. His victories over Uriah Faber and Duane Ludwig fueled the hype. Edgar, making his UFC debut, was unknown. Their 2007 clash was a high-paced technical battle that feels modern even today. Edgar's unanimous decision stunned fans, but his later lightweight title reign showed his brilliance. Griffin had a solid run, beating Clay Guida and Rafael dos Anjos, but never reached Edgar's heights. In hindsight, Edgar's well-rounded skills and relentless pace made him the superior fighter. The upset felt massive, but knowing Edgar's championship pedigree, it's clear this was no fluke. His debut showcased a future star, making the victory over Griffin predictable when viewed through the lens of history. Number 2. Amanda Nunes versus Miesha Tate. UFC 200's main event, Amanda Nunes versus Miesha Tate felt like a letdown compared to the card's original blockbuster matchups. Tate, fresh off a title-winning upset over Holly Holm, was at her peak, while Nunes was seen as unremarkable despite wins over Valentina Shevchenko and Germaine de Randamie. Nunes' first-round destruction of Tate shocked the MMA world, her brutal strikes ending the fight decisively. Fans expected Tate's era to dominate, but Nunes' performance rewrote the narrative. In hindsight, Nunes' GOAT-level potential was evident, and her later dominance confirmed this win was no fluke. Tate's vulnerabilities and Nunes' raw power were clear signs. The victory, initially an afterthought amid Ronda Rousey hype, marked the start of Nunes' reign. Looking back, this upset was predictable, as Nunes' skills signaled the dawn of a new era in women's MMA. Number 1, Randy Couture versus Tim Sylvia. In 2007, the UFC's heavyweight division lacked the world's top talent, with many elite fighters competing in pride. Tim Sylvia, the champion, wasn't among the global top 5 during his second title reign. Randy Couture, returning from retirement at an advanced age after losses to Chuck Liddell, faced daunting odds against the towering Sylvia. Yet, Couture dominated with a masterclass performance, proving his prime skills were still elite. Sylvia struggled against top heavyweights like Mir, Arlovsky, Nogueira, and Fedor, revealing his limitations. Couture's victory wasn't a fluke, he was simply better. The division was vulnerable, ripe for a legend like Couture to seize the belt until a true great emerged. In hindsight, Couture's experience and Sylvia's struggles made this outcome predictable. The upset shocked fans, but Couture's dominance showed it was an inevitable result in a weak division. Thanks for watching.